Researchers with the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism have reviewed death certificates dating back 20 years and found that alcohol as a factor more than doubled between 1999 and 2017. In that last year, more than 72,000 of us died from alcohol-related accidents or illnesses.
That is Jim Ryan from ABC News. Spoke with him briefly last hour, and there are many different potential explanations for this, most of which are not good, and a lot of it just has to do with more drinking. But I'm especially interested in the increase in women, and I have some thoughts and ideas. I've been watching a lot of different trends pertaining to women over the course of time. For example, historically, the number one reason why life expectancy had been lower for men than women had been stress. Now, as more women are heads of household than ever before, as there are actually more women in the workforce than men, I've been wondering if there wouldn't be a bit of a shift in some of these dynamics. And here we have, for the past 20 years, the unfortunate explosion in deaths over drinking of women. And we happen to have an incident in Fort Lauderdale, bring up here in a moment as well. But joining us to talk about this, Melissa Engle, an addiction expert with Healing Springs Ranch. You may visit them, take 2 or 3, healingspringsranch.com. There you go. Easy for me to say. Melissa, thank you for taking the time with us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's delve into this. When we take a look at the report, we see essentially a doubling of deaths related to alcohol. First, do you think it's simply a case of more people drinking more than before, or do you think it's possibly a maybe just better medical examination that is resulting in documenting some of what might have been overlooked previously?
I think it's probably both. I have been in the mental health field for almost 30 years now, and just culturally and looking at the changes of the clientele that I've been working with and looking at our culture as a whole, we are changing. There's more depression, more anxiety, more suicide, more alcoholism, more opiate addictions, more gambling, pornography. All of these things are on the rise, and I think it's kind of a cultural issue as well.
You know, you bring us some good points, and you're a professional in the industry. Have you seen an uptick specifically in women in recent years?
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yes, sir. And I think you're spot on with what you're looking at. What is happening with the women, and women are trying to do so much more. They're trying to be stay-at-home moms, which is a full-time job, as most of us know, and they are trying to be in the workforce at the same time. So there's a lot of stress and demands placed on a lot of women in ways that they didn't have so much before.
Yeah, we have this situation, for example, it was last Wednesday, the Westin in Fort Lauderdale, a woman from Utah who was here on a business trip, and we're still waiting for the toxicology reports to come in, cause of death. Medical examiners haven't released it, but there are multiple witnesses that suggested that she was intoxicated. Long story short, she ended up leaving the room and was found in a pond just outside of the Westin. Do you see with women who are career-oriented, focused, maybe even travel for work, that some of the habits might change, including perhaps drinking along with a business meeting, or just the dealing with stress through consumption?
Every bit of that. I agree with every bit of that. I just think alcoholism has it's getting more and more normalized, and people are leaning into any kind of addictive pattern to try to manage the mounting stressors that they're facing. And so, yes, I agree. I agree with what you're saying.
And Melissa, when is it that you know that you might have a problem, or someone in your life, they really do have an issue?
I think we all need to look at the areas that we tend to lean into to make ourselves feel better. And what I've learned over the last 30 years is none of us are above mental health, or none of us are above addiction. If you stress any of us enough, we can struggle. And we all have places that we lean into to try to feel better, whether it's shopping or working. I mean, you can be a workaholic, shopaholic, gambling, pornography, sex, food, alcohol, pills. There's a myriad of ways to try to feel better and escape uncomfortable feelings. And our society has really become about quick fixes and how quickly I can feel better. And there's very little merit to sitting in discomfort and growing emotionally stronger and creating a better emotional bandwidth. So we can get addicted to anything if we start using it in excess, and it starts causing problems in our daily functioning.
What approximate age do people that go on to have addictions, that do have problems, specifically with alcoholism, when does that typically manifest itself?
It depends a lot on the person. If they've had a lot of painful experiences, if they've had some childhood traumas, it's more about there's more of a direct correlation with traumatic experiences throughout your life, the number of traumatic experiences, and the struggles with addiction. If you're looking at alcoholism and pills, there's a correlation more with traumatic experiences.
And how big is
I don't know that there's a
predisposition?
specific age. I'm so sorry. Say that again.
Yeah, no worries. How big is predisposition? For example, if alcoholism runs in the family?
Oh, what the research does not support the genetic. We cannot find a specific gene. The more they try to find the gene for alcoholism, depression, bipolar, the more they try to find the gene as more science advances, they're finding out it's a bunch of different genes. Like we're at a point now where they're talking about thousands of different genes. And so what we're starting to look at is the predisposition might be more around the person's sensitivity. And there's what's called highly sensitive people, and that's about 20% of our population. So if you're a highly sensitive person, and that's more about your temperament and your disposition, if you're a highly sensitive person and you tend to kind of stuff your feelings in, that's a really bad combination that can lead you into addictive patterns. But there's never been an identified gene. A lot of it is learned, or if there is any genetic predisposition, it would be more around the person's sensitivity levels.
Well, that's really interesting. It's good new information to me anyway, and appreciate you sharing it with us.
Absolutely.
Melissa Engle, again, an addiction expert with Healing Springs Ranch, and the website healingspringsranch.com. There we go. I can do it. I'm a semi-professional some days of the week.